Welcome back, lovely listeners, to the long overdue Port of Dorks episode. I'm your host, Jordan Peterson. As always, joined by my good friend, co-captain, best man, Alex Klansorge.
Hello.
Alex, it's been a while.
Yep.
I'm a married man now.
I know, I saw it.
You did?
I was there.
You heard about it? Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was literally right behind you.
You were? Yeah. Good times. Something I wouldn't want to do again. Now it just feels like, because planning a wedding for months at least, and then it happens, and you're like, I don't know what to do next. And so now I kind of feel like this doing this, recording this right now is weird to me because I feel like I should be planning my wedding. Just odd.
You could always renew your vows.
My vows are sitting right up there. I just got them. They're fairly fresh. Anyway, as a result, we've been away a while. I don't know if anybody actually cares, but we have like 20 followers, so
That's something.
yeah, somebody probably, hopefully noticed. Is one of my PlayStation games missing?
I don't know, dude.
They're all leaning over. Like, one of them's missing. I don't know how that happened. Did you take my shit?
No? Why would I? I'm pretty sure I have all of the games that you have.
You have Guitar Hero?
No, but I'm also not. I'd also have to steal your fucking guitar. I'm not going to do that.
That's true. I don't even know where my guitar is. Alright, so we've seen, for good or bad, you and I have seen a couple of movies recently together. We'll talk about those. I saw some movies where me and Mariah were down in Tennessee. Saw Dunkirk and Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Dunkirk was okay. You know my feelings about Christopher Nolan at this point. The movie was okay. Definitely not great, like everyone thinks is saying it. In my opinion, of course.
Yeah.
Valerian was garbage. That movie, I told you a little bit about. That was raw shit. Luc Besson's fan fiction of Valerian is better than his Valerian. Should have just left it at that.
Yeah.
So those are my quick recaps of the whole movie. I paid for both. I haven't paid for a movie in years. Felt weird. $30 both times.
Jeez.
Yeah, and one of them was was a $5 theater, but we were seeing Valerian in 3D, so it was like a regular price ticket. And then the other one was Dunkirk. We saw it at this theater. They don't have IMAX because IMAX is a specific brand. They have XSXS, like special something. I don't remember. It's just a bigger screen, which was fine. So it was weird. So that too would cost a little extra to see that movie, but I figured, most of it was shot in IMAX. See it on a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Glad I did it. Definitely not going to watch that movie ever again. Which is an improvement over Interstellar. I never want to see that movie again.
Yeah, that movie was...
I will actively avoid that movie for the rest of my life.
It's one of the most overrated movies I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. God. But you and I just got out of a movie.
Yes.
What did we see?
The Dark Tower.
Oh, the Stephen King book. How was that?
Well, we didn't see the as a little boring as a viewing experience.
Yeah.
We saw the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
What do you think?
I thought it was mediocre. It wasn't awful like I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it was...
I really expected you to think that it was awful coming out of the theater.
Why?
Because anytime anything happened, you laughed as it was... It wasn't like a huge laugh, but you would chuckle to yourself as if something stupid had just happened.
A lot of stupid things.
And it was
happened.
like, it's kind of stupid, but not enough to make me laugh.
Like the when those skins, I guess that's what they're called, came to pick up the boy, and they're just ready to ship him out. And then like the guy climbs out the window, up the side of the building after the child, in front of the parents. Like, that's a completely normal thing.
Well, I think that the reaction shot on that seemed to, it was
they
kind
weren't
of
even
supposed to be a little bit of a joke.
They weren't even like, that's my kid.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody bolted after your kid that you didn't know, I would be like, get the fuck away from my kid.
It is a little surprising how successful they've been, considering how much shit we see. Like, people, having to push their faces back into place, and them
shaking,
jumping all over
trembling, all the time.
Like, they're not very good at being secretive about this. No. But, I mean, I guess it is New York.
And this really, big, chubby-looking, unathletic dude, and just bolts up the side of the building after the kid. That's hilarious! That poor man. What was he just in? He was just in Book of Henry, which is a batshit insane movie about a dead kid who teaches his mom how to get a sniper and murder their neighbor. No, and it's not good. It's a 1 view, I would say. Give it a 1 view for that reason. The synopsis that I just unloaded to you is why you should see that movie. It's not good, and that poor guy was in that movie too. Just had a string of bad luck. And let's start at the beginning, as I often like to. So this movie is about a tower.
A dark one.
A dark one. Or the tower. The Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the center of this universe. Our universe. And all universes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I guess, like, protects them.
Yeah.
It shoots out energy, I guess. I don't know how or why. And that's one of my problems with this movie is they said it was a sequel to the book. But that doesn't help me. I didn't read the book. And I feel like...
Well, I feel like that statement probably wasn't for you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that would have benefit from my having read the books.
Yeah, probably.
And, like, story building things like that, like the tower. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, that tends to be an issue in whenever most fantasy series try to be adapted, because there's usually such intricacy in the world that just sounds like nonsense if there's no context.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
And that's why everybody thought that kid was crazy, spewing nonsense. I think my biggest complaint about this movie, there's a lot of them I could just throw out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing about this movie, well, one, the script is it's not good, and the dialogue just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. It was cheesy, especially with the man in black, Matthew McConaughey's character. He just says things that might have sounded cool, like in the writers, like throw like an offhand comment. Oh man, that'd be cool to put that in the. What if he said this? But the whole movie just feels like I've seen this 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
And the strange, weird Stephen King imagination were the things that really kept me interested in this movie.
Yeah, probably.
Idris Elba, he's the brooding, reluctant anti-hero we've seen many times. But he plays it very well. And I liked him by the end of it. A lot of the jokes just did not work, especially Matthew McConaughey's jokes.
Yeah.
Were not funny.
I wasn't even sure what were jokes and what weren't.
Yeah. Some of it is said very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
During a serious scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was supposed to laugh at that. But thank God for that hospital scene.
Yeah, that's probably
that. I needed that gut bust.
Yeah, and all of those jokes like that, the kind of like...
We've seen them all before.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. But like the, other worlder and in our world kind of thing, like, they also just kind of do all of them within like 5 minutes, and then we get one more at the end, and that's it.
I'll have another.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. For your services.
But I mean, I feel like it's better than spending the whole movie in New York,
I kind of would I kind of would rather have seen that movie. Just the kid and Idris Elba exploring New York together. That would be fun. Yeah, then he hands her like a coin.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I imagine he carries those around because that's the currency.
I know, but what I'm saying, like, I don't know that. There's like a bunch of weird things, and like they spend a lot of a good chunk of the movie in a village, in a town. You don't get to learn on anything about how that town operates, anything about the currency in this universe, anything about nothing except people. And they had a teleporter, I guess.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just teleport him to the place they needed to go?
Because they didn't have the coordinates.
They didn't?
No.
Oh, okay. See, that's one of those dumb questions I didn't want to ask on here. Things that I don't really get. I saw the 1408 reference. I tried to tell you, but I don't think you cared.
Well, I didn't know.
Never seen 1408?
I feel like I have, but I don't know what it's
John
referenced.
Cusack, Sam Jackson, Stephen King. It's based on one of his short stories. 1408.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And like you said, it would be so awesome to see a Stephen King universe. Cinematic Stephen King universe, especially with it coming out next month. Connect them. I want to see it. I want to see it reference the Dark Tower somehow.
Yeah. I mean, who is making it? I don't know. Is it Paramount?
You really want to know.
Well, it makes a difference, because if it's Sony, they might. But if it's a different company, there'd be no like reason for them to do that.
New Line. Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So there's...
Well, Warner Brothers is distributing it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who made this one? Because Sony might just be the distributor. Let me check. Should have done this beforehand.
Yeah, maybe.
The Dark Tower movie.
Well, Dark Tower was Sony. That was because I saw it at the beginning.
Distributor, maybe.
It was fuck, what was it? Paramount, right?
Was it?
Or no, Columbia. Yeah, I think it was Columbia Pictures, which is owned by Sony.
Yeah,
right?
it might not have been
The girl with the big torch.
Production company, Sony, media rights, capital, image. Yeah, so Image Entertainment, not New Line, which is sad.
Yeah.
Be so awesome to see like Idris Elba punch Pennywise the clown in the face.
I'm not sure if there would be an Avengers style film.
I just want to see it, like in the bloopers or something.
It seems like you want the dumbest shit, but then when that stuff actually comes up, you don't really like it that much.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it for the most part. I probably wouldn't watch it again.
No.
Maybe if I didn't have to pay anything for it.
It was on TV.
Yeah, I might sit through parts of it. But, I mean, it's not the worst movie I've seen this year. It's by far not the best either.
No. I've seen a lot of people reference it as one of the worst movies of the year, and I definitely don't agree with that. The whole family situation, like I said, we've seen it all before, and the family situation at home was just so boring, and those parents, the mom was just the one note.
Yeah.
Worried about her son. The stepfather is just the abusive asshole.
Yeah.
And they're both just automatically willing to ship their kid off to this strange camp. Just because he's having weird nightmares. Otherwise, he seemed completely normal.
Well, they established that he gets into fights over that shit too. They don't really say that it's been a recurring thing, but
they don't.
I mean, it's implied, but that's it.
Well, he got into one fight because a bully took his notepad.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with him being, like, his nightmares are being weird. If somebody took your shit, you take it back. That's not strange to me.
Well, I think that I mean, it's one of those things, like, the direction isn't super amazing, like, and I don't think they did a super great job of getting it across, but I think it was the scene where he was getting into that fight, it was supposed to highlight how obsessed he is with the Notebook. And like that he needed to get that back specifically, and that's something that could raise some red flags for a therapist or
that's
something.
not but any form of violence
I imagine
could.
that this probably isn't the first time something like that
probably not,
happened
but
in the story.
I didn't really get the sense that he was that weird or dysfunctional or anything.
Well, it's the kind of thing that I think they tried to establish, but they didn't. I mean, I'm glad they didn't take more time with it, really, but for that to really get across, they probably would have had to.
Yeah.
And the actors for the parents weren't that great either.
No.
So it really seems like they blew their budget on a couple of big actors, because there's a ton of people who are not great.
No.
And I imagine it seems like the direction for the actors probably wasn't great either, because you see even some people like Matthew McConaughey delivers some lines really poorly.
Oh my God, he's not into it.
Yeah, like clearly. The director didn't do a great job at explaining to him what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was just like not scary.
Yeah,
and he kind of just one note his lines the whole way through. It's kind of sad because Idris Elba seemed kind of to get it.
Yeah.
But then again, there's more of a backstory for him to work with. The Man in Black, he just kind of like he wants to end the world or the universe like any other bland villain.
Yeah.
And I think them referencing the Crimson King was kind of. It was a misstep. They should have definitely delved into that more, because like I haven't read the books. I've a friend who's read the books, and I've read the stuff myself, and I've read it, the book, and so I have a bit of an understanding.
Read it or you listened to it?
Well, it's the same. They followed along.
Yeah, I know.
Because from what I gather is, the Man in Black works for this Crimson King, who's outside the universe, and by blowing up the Dark Tower, you bring down the universe's barrier and allows him to come in and wreak havoc.
Yeah.
But they don't say that. They just say the Man in Black wants to destroy the tower so that monsters can come in. And then they allude to the Crimson King, but it's like, why would you want to just bring in monsters and end the universe?
Honestly, I mean, I think it definitely, that kind of writing is probably because they're intending to have a franchise, which I don't think is going to happen now.
Ooh.
But I honestly would rather just have the suggestion of that than have them spend time on exposition about that.
Well, I think...
'Cause I think the fact that they didn't spend too much time on that kind of stuff really made this movie way better.
barely.
Yeah, like because if they took the time to try and explain even a quarter of the shit that's going on in this universe, it'd be fucking boring.
But you know me, I'm a character guy, and by developing, like establishing the Crimson, you don't have to go into like much about the Crimson King. Establish him as this force outside this universe who can't really get in. Needs the Man in Black being kind of a pawn for him, and you could go deeper into that character of the Man in Black than you could, how does he feel about this relationship with this guy? Does he really want to bring him in so that he can have him wreak havoc? Does he want to bring him in because he wants to kill him or something? Give him something, more of an identity of something other than the guy who just wants to end the world.
I mean, I feel like that is a little more complicated than the movie should have, but I do think that the Man in Black should have more character or more anything, because he is really bland.
But the movie is brisk, and that's a good thing.
Have some motivation.
But I think that'd be one way of it's less than 2 hours. You could have gone a little more and explored that character somehow, some way, and they should have, because he was a stick. He was like a praying mantis, just walking around. Stop breathing. And then they didn't explore his powers, his magic, like this weird laboratory he has, and why the pot smoker from Cabin in the Woods is there. He's dressed he looks like the exact same character. Why is he dressed like that?
Have you seen that guy in other things?
No,
because he always looks the fucking same in everything he's in.
That's not how acting is.
I know, but that guy is... I mean, he's one of those actors where people really only hire him for one thing.
But, why? What's that one...
It's like asking why that guy who was the inventor in Spider-Man Homecoming had that mustache. They hire that guy because he looks like a goofy fucking guy.
But they gave that guy a lab coat. He looks like he's supposed to be inventing stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
This guy just looks like he woke up out of bed on a Sunday morning and
it is weird where there's, that girl skinned person too, and she looks like she's out of fucking Star Trek or something. It's really weird.
And she's trying to hold up her face. He didn't seem to have any face issues.
Yeah, it seems like most people have trouble with that, except for the people who don't have any trouble with it.
Yeah,
it's strange.
It is weird. It's a weird.
It goes between people being totally fine and people literally having half of their face falling off, and then them just pushing it back.
What an awful disguise.
Yeah.
I mean, then even if it looks perfectly fine on you, you still have that weird, oddly noticeable scar that runs on both sides of your face.
It's look, get some better glue and some concealer.
Makeup, something.
If you can invent a face that looks so lifelike,
yes,
you can put some makeup on that line and have it not show up.
And why Matthew McConaughey wasn't a weird bird hair monster who needed to cover up?
Yeah, I imagine that he's probably a human, I would imagine. Or whatever you would count the people on that world to be, because I imagine he's probably from there. But it's not explained.
Yeah, and not having things explained to a certain point, better for you, not good for me. I don't like that. I don't like that. Not knowing what the hell is going on. I'm fine with
it,
insinuation, or I'm not okay with just making shit up off the top of my head to try and figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of the film, is if I have to make up my own story, I'll just go make my own story.
Yeah, I mean, that does tend to be, and I brought it up before, an issue with fantasy being adapted into, especially, more complicated worlds. Harry Potter can work because, that has a really intricate world. A lot of it is shared with our world. And, there's a certain amount of things that you just don't need to know to get the story. You just have a base number of things to understand who everyone is and what their motivation is. And those movies are longer. They have more exposition about, who Voldemort is and stuff. That's why, the first one, it's not the best one, but, it can work.
And I don't have to have everything explained.
But yeah, this doesn't really give you much of anything.
No, it doesn't. And Ron Howard was developing this for years. It was going to be a movie with a TV series. I think it could still work. You just go back and you just retell the novel. Yeah. Or the novels as a TV story. I think that would be really interesting, because it's got that blend of kind of like the Western. Westworld has on HBO right now. That's doing pretty good. but it also has strange fantasy elements, kind of reminiscent of something like Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
again, very successful. I think it could work.
It could work really well as like a Netflix series, I think.
Or HBO.
Yeah, or HBO or something. Like, it would probably need at least like decent, cable television sort of budget. Production quality. But
something like I would rather see a series based on this than Watchmen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you could give it a GOT kind of budget every week and do something. Just go into developing all that stuff, make it interesting, make it fun.
What the fuck would you even do with Watchmen as a series?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Whatever David Lindelof wants to do.
I mean, it's fucking Damon Lindelof.
Fucking Damon Lindelof.
How is he even gonna function writing this?
I don't know.
Everything's already been answered.
I don't know.
He can't. Is he just gonna make up questions?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
That guy.
They only cut out, like, the movie only cut out, like, probably like a chapter's worth of shit. Well, more than that. But it pretty much followed most of the film except for, the ending and all the plot, lines that go throughout the book.
But
we're getting off topic.
Not really. Rorschach's in the Dark Tower.
He is?
Yeah. Well, not the character Rorschach.
I know, the actor.
Yeah, the actor.
But he is?
Yeah.
Where?
He's the main guy who owns that Dixie Club. The guy who, like, smelled the guy's blood.
That was him?
That was him.
Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Jackie Earle Haley. Yeah, I know. And then he gets run over by a car twice. Then that's the end of that. That was another thing about, like, the action. A lot of the editing is kind of weird.
Yeah, which kind of sucked because there were some really good shots.
Mm-hmm.
There were some good effects, at least when it came to
mostly
the guns and stuff. That when people were doing magic stuff, it looked weird. It kind of always does.
Yeah. You can't really make that stuff look cool when you're just waving your hands around.
Matthew, and like, I think it takes someone who really knows, who's like a huge fucking nerd and knows like how they should be moving, like they probably practiced it before. And Matthew McConaughey is probably not that at all. It's because he's just like, it's like whenever he casts magic, it's like he's in Cats, like the musical Cats, where he just holds his hands out like
scratching
in a
the
claw.
air.
Yeah. And it looks weird. There's some cool stuff that they did with it, but his movements in that were definitely very it felt forced and stiff and weird.
Oh yeah.
And my guess is that this doesn't seem like it was the role for him at all.
Everything about that character is just not convincing. Even though they cheated a couple of times in that last battle with McConaughey, I thought the reloading shit with Idris Elba was pretty good. That was fun. It's stuff that we had never seen before.
Yeah. And there's some really cool shots.
And the creature design of that weird one thing that kind of punches through once is I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, it's
kind of refreshing. But then that scene gets ruined when they talk about it. He says, "There's nobody you know." That line I liked. It's nobody you know. I'm sorry, but as soon as the kid sees his dead stepfather.
No, his dead father.
His dead father. Yeah, that's right. It's his dead father.
He doesn't know his stepfather.
You know it's an illusion, and somebody's gonna try and harm him, and then he.
As soon as he woke up and someone was whispering his name, I'm like, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and then he did, and then Idris explains it as like it was just a distraction, and he says something else because then there's a weird cut there, and then I was like, oh, okay, the scene is done, but then there's a weird cut, and then they're still talking about it on their way back to the campfire.
Yeah,
it was weird. I can't remember what was said. It was just so.
There may have been a shot or something of them turning around that had gotten on the cutting room floor.
That was weird. We've never done that before, where we accidentally, because we'll get talking, we'll really get into our conversation, and then my monitor will be like, oh, nothing's happening, it'll go to sleep, and I gotta wake it up before the whole computer shuts down, and I accidentally, in turning it back on, I accidentally hit record off. Never done that before.
Yeah.
Well, now that streak's over. Anyway, yeah, you can tell that there's a whole lot in the Dark Tower that's just been cut out. Because it's weird, weird editing scars.
Yeah.
Although a lot of the action that's weirdly edited, I don't think is scars. I just think that's probably director didn't really get the best coverage like he should have. But most of the action, even though it has weird, obvious editing flaws like that, I still enjoyed most of it.
Yeah.
The CGI was pretty good.
It's not. Like, I feel like it has a lot of weird cuts, but it's not as fast as a lot of other action movies, and it's not as shaky. I mean, it's still kind of shaky and fast, but it's not as bad as some other stuff. Like, I felt like I could keep a decent track of what was going on. And, the effects, and, like, anytime he reloaded his gun, it was pretty cool. And they managed to, like, do a bunch of different ones and anything. Anytime he would repeat something you've already seen, it would be like a truncated version. Like there's a shot which was in the trailer where you see he spins the barrel of the revolver and puts the bullets in really quick. Cool. And then you see him do that again later, but you don't really see it. It just happens fast, and then he's firing again. Yeah.
And they did that too when he flips open the barrels of his gun, because he's got a bunch of the ammo around his waist, and he kind of just slips his guns into the belt and pulls it back out. And you see him do that once, and then he runs out of ammo, and then he does it again, but it's not a close up. It's just he just does it.
Yeah. So they do a nice close up so you understand what he's doing. Like I could tell he like slides it across his belt, and you can tell he's kind of pushing them through the little holders that they're in and putting them into the barrel, and then it does it again, and it's just quick and it's pretty smartly done.
Yeah. Or he'll go to reload earlier in the movie, like you said. We got the close up of him, ching ching ching, dropping the bullets into it, and then he hit later on when he's doing it or something, and then he drops all the bullets. So it's a different variation on that same thing. This movie is really up and down for me.
Yeah, it is.
Something for everything I liked about it. There's at least one thing I didn't like about it.
I mean, that's a really good way to describe this movie, is that quality wise, it is all over the place. It is.
Like, and in different areas.
Yeah, you have like fantastic acting from Idris Elba, and then like side characters that just sound like they were supposed to be extras or something, like they'd never been in the film before.
Yeah, even McConaughey doesn't even seem that into it. Like, he's an Oscar winner.
Yeah. And
you would not be able to guess from this performance.
And then you have like really great special effects shots, and some that look ridiculous.
That look garbage. That one of Jackie Earle Haley getting hit by that taxi, that was not good. That's like early 2000s Spider-Man shit.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Even the kid felt like he was going between different stages of puberty during the film. Like, his voice went all over the place.
Did it?
Sometimes
I didn't pay attention.
I mean, it felt like sometimes it was way deeper than in other scenes, as if his voice was changing while they were filming the movie, or it got deeper when he had to come back and do ADR or something like that.
Well, that might have happened, because this movie
probably did.
Was in production, post-production for a while. So I would not be surprised if puberty happens fast too.
Yeah,
it kind of hits you, and then you're a man all of a sudden.
Yeah, and that kid's at an age it feels like Hollywood kind of avoids hiring kids that age, probably for this reason. And yeah,
I was watching one of my YouTube shows, and they were talking about how because they were talking about the next part, if this one is successful, possibilities for the second one, and how this one is going to be the kids, and the next one is going to be those same characters as adults going through the same thing. But the book, they were talking about how book formats are between, you kind of jump between the two, kids, adult, kids, adult, kids, adults. And are they going to have flashbacks in the second part of the first part? But they won't be able to do that if they don't film them now, because in 2 years those kids are going to be fucking grown adults.
Yeah.
Because they grow so fucking fast. Damn kids ruining it. They're ruining our movies, our Stephen King movies. He needs to write some shit about adults.
Yeah.
He's getting to that age now. He's going to have to accept it.
Is he still writing things about kids?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be funny, damn it. You just ruined a joke.
Did I?
No.
I kind of expected you to fight a little bit on that one.
Oh. I'm funny in my head. There's a lot of things about this movie, but nothing that's jumping out at me as something that needs to be said.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
It is.
It's an okay movie.
What do you grade it?
I don't know, probably like a C+.
That's what I was gonna give it. High five. Sameness.
It's got some interesting stuff. If you like fantasy stuff and you don't mind, if you're just looking for something to watch and have a little bit of fun, that should do it. It's fine. There's certainly worse movies you could watch.
Definitely. Transformers.
It's a better use of your time than like Transformers or Suicide Squad or something.
Oh my god. Yeah. We recently saw a sexy Charlize Theron movie.
Yeah.
Atomic Blonde. Now that was a pretty good movie.
It was. I did enjoy that movie.
I enjoyed that movie more than I thought I was going to. It's very David Leitch. See, I'm still not through that puberty thing. David Leitch, who is a co-director of the first John Wick. The other co-director, I can't remember his name, Chad Stahelski or something like that, went on to do John Wick 2. David Leitch left to do this movie, and then subsequently Deadpool 2. And this gives me hope for Deadpool 2, because Tim Miller did an awesome job with that first one as a director. And he's even the short videos that I've seen him put out from Blink. No, it's not Blink. Whatever, his production company. Been very good.
Yeah.
Like he did the videos for Arkham, for the Arkham not Asylum, not City, Night, Arkham Knight, which were pretty good. So yeah, this gives me hope for that. The action is good, and that staircase sequence it still puts a smile on my face when I think about it.
Something about those guys and stairs. There's a lot of weirdly a lot of similarities between this and John Wick 2, despite being separate films from two people who just made a film together.
Oh, and Daredevil. Both seasons. Well, the second season has a stairwell fight.
Yeah.
Stairwell fights are pretty hot now.
Yeah.
I guess,
but it's like they have that, with a lot of people just rolling downstairs, and I think they both have sequences with two people who are just like on the brink of collapse.
Yeah. And they should be dead, and they're just keep getting like that guy. The first thing that happens in that fight is Charlize Theron shoots the guy in the sternum, and the rest of that fight sequence goes on for like 7 minutes.
Yeah,
and he's just still going at it.
She stabs him with a fucking throat, and then he just shows up.
And then she kills the second guy, or you think he kills him, and then she gets in the car and drives away. And not only is he still alive, but he's fucking running alongside the car, leaps on the car.
I really expected some time later in that scene to see him just holding onto the bumper or something.
I thought he was going to come back. Or in the middle of that sequence when she goes to investigate those that now supposedly died. I was sure one of them was going to get back up. Fortunately, they didn't. But that's all right. I think the middle part of that movie kind of sagged along for me.
Yeah.
A little too much.
And there was a lot of Cold War espionage stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
without a ton of action.
I'm editing my review right now, which you can find on YouTube at Movie Minutes. Of Charlize Theron kind of just walking from place to place, looking moody, and taking ice baths.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what the middle section of that movie is. But the first act, all the setup, everything, and from that fight sequence on is just golden. I loved it.
Don't forget she had sex with the mummy.
Yeah. I wanted to be more polite about that.
Okay. Well.
That is pretty hot. Yeah, but she doesn't just have sex. They form a relationship.
Yeah, I do. I did like that relationship.
Yeah. And even though she doesn't spend... This is spoilers, okay? If you haven't seen this, fast forward or whatever you want to do. Spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When the mummy dies, Charlize Theron has 30 seconds of mourning.
Yeah.
That probably shouldn't be enough, but it was enough, and it worked.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of buildup of that character. That's a confirmation of this being a character who does care, but because of her work and the things she does, she just that's why she's cold and moody all the time. Which
the visual aspect and the cinematography, the colors, the very somber colors, they really emphasize that.
Yeah.
And there's most of the movie is just flat space shots, which is just the side of people from the sides or from up above where things. Any shot that makes things look flat, like a flat space, hence the name flat space, really helped accent her as a person. And I really like it's not just for style, it's not just to look cool.
Yeah.
Where it is it's more so in the John Wick movies to look cool.
Yeah.
Because that movie is about cool. In this movie, it actually kind of meant something.
And all that stuff, pretty well juxtaposed. I still can't say that.
Yeah,
but by James McAvoy's character, who does very much the same thing but kind of opposite, being very goofy and seeming not held together at all, to hide the fact that he's actually very intelligent and fucking ruthless.
Yeah, he was. James McAvoy, what a hell of a year that guy's having. He is fantastic. He seems to be getting better every movie, which is awesome. And I love him as Professor X, but that character does not allow you to really see how good of an actor James McAvoy is.
Especially the closer he's getting to
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
version.
it seems like when he was young that was the most interesting and whatever. But yeah, Among some really fantastic actors, he probably shined the most in this film as like probably the most interesting character and like probably best actor in the movie.
James McAvoy?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of fantastic performances in this movie.
Right. Even John Goodman. Like, I was like, what the... John Goodman is just here because he's John Goodman. And then I also said this in my review, which you can check out on YouTube at Movie Minutes, is that a lot of things, at least for me, like, a lot of things happen that they kind of just glance over it. And then they come back to it at the end. That is one of the most effective epilogues that I've ever seen in a movie. It felt like a comic book in that way, where it just wraps shit up. Like, it could have ended where it ended. Yeah. But the epilogue just it's the nice bow. You don't need to put a bow on a present to give a present to somebody. It looks nicer if you do. Yeah. And I appreciate the more the effort. Yeah. And it just it's a short couple of scenes, but they do so much for that movie.
Yeah. Usually stuff like that kind of bugs me. I feel like they did a good job here of, they set up enough clues and hints for you to kind of figure things out. And then the epilogue doesn't just hold your hand and just say, here's everything that you missed. It just kind of clarifies a couple of things. And, it's really satisfying to finally be like, oh, not only am I right about what that was, but there's also a little bit that I didn't get either, Yeah. And then you can look back and see, like, little hints that help you out, things that were kind of confusing beforehand. And I feel like the movie spaces them out well enough, and I think it's paced well enough, those sort of things, that you don't have to go through and watch it a bunch of times to get things.
No, but it does.
But yeah, you still think about
the second viewing, which I will definitely be checking out because I like that movie, and that's why John Goodman's here.
Yeah, I feel like John Goodman just kind of shows up where he wants to.
That's what I'm saying. And so when he does, it's not very special, but here, it means something. I'm trying to think of other noteworthies from that movie. I think I pretty much hit all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, there doesn't really feel like there's a lot to say about the movie, but it's a really solid film.
It is. My review for it is pretty. Like, I shot my review. I was like, really? That's it? Yeah. But yeah, it is. It's a good movie. It's one of the better graphic novel adaptations in a while. Well, not in a while. It's been a good year for comic book movies, and I don't want people to forget Atomic Blonde is part of that.
I don't really even count a lot of the stuff that comes out as adaptations anymore, just like other versions, because they tend to be pretty unique stories.
Comic book movies.
But yeah.
With characters from source materials and similar story beats to iconic comic book stuff. But yeah. All right. What do you grade Atomic Blonde?
Probably give Atomic Blonde, I think give it an A.
An A? Oh, nice. I thought we were going to be like, we were feeling that electricity. We were going to give it the same grade again. I was about to jump out of my seat. In my review, I gave it an A-. But definitely, I definitely see where not much of a difference there. Yeah. Good movie. Fun movie. Better than The Dark Tower. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff since our last episode. We'll get to it in the next episode. It's just so much. I'm going to have to write it all out again. But that's it. That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for listening. If you made it all the way through, let us know what you thought about Atomic Blonde. If you saw it, do you want to see it? How do you feel about Charlize Theron hooking up with the Mummy? Because she really needed that after that movie. Yeah.
She's good in this movie, too.
She is. Well, the thing about Sophia is she's a good actress. She is. So is Tom Cruise. Yeah. Just happened to make ugly babies together. And let us know what you thought about The Dark Tower. Did you read the books? Why did you read? No, I'm kidding. I hear good things about those books. So let us know, guys. Again, I am Jordan Peterson. You can find me on Twitter at The Film Major. You can also find me, I plugged it already a few times, on YouTube at Movie Minutes. Movie Minutes is my channel. There I review movies. Obviously, I do trailer reactions. Sometimes with this lug here, that was me patting Alex, by the way. That wasn't anything else. So get your mind straight.
Feels like you're protesting a little too much.
I know, but this isn't a visual thing. They can't see. It could have been anything. I just wanted to make sure in this auditory field that you and I are amateurs in. So I want to be safe. You can also find me. I have a blog, a movie blog. That's WordPress blog, movieminutes.wordpress.com, or is it WordPress that movie minutes. I can't remember. I know it was blogs. After doing Blogspot for many years, it's different than that. I get the two confused every time. But I'm on WordPress. I got a Movie Minutes blog, Movie Minutes YouTube. Alex, where can the good people find you?
I don't know.
You need to do
I'm
shit.
playing Splatoon 2.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That's probably where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
Throwing ketchup on people.
Or mayo.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to do that.
Yeah, you won't. Anyway, thanks guys. That's been oh god, what episode? I don't remember. This has been an episode of Port of Dorks. Thanks for listening, guys. Until next time, you take care. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Alex.
Bye.
Bye.
Just stepped all over my fucking